You know the feeling. You've had the exact same conversation 10, maybe 20 times with someone you love, a son, a spouse, a best friend. You bring up your faith, and immediately the wall goes up. The reaction is hostile, and you find yourself totally exhausted. Stepping back feels heavy. When we equate silence with giving up, we carry the guilt of a perceived spiritual failure. We feel a crushing obligation to keep trying, even when the relationship is fraying. Jesus provides a specific behavioral framework for this moment, called holy restraint. It is a method found in the Sermon on the Mount, designed to preserve your sanity and the sacredness of your faith, without requiring you to walk away from the person. To begin, you will need a journal or a Bible and a pen. While you gather those, focus on one specific strained relationship where your words have repeatedly met a wall of resistance. Taking a strategic step back protects the truth from being mocked and shields the relationship from further damage. It is the tactical pause that precedes a different kind of progress. Matthew 7:6 contains a directive often overlooked in our zeal. Do not give dogs what is sacred. Do not throw your pearls to pigs. This isn't a license to insult. It's a command for strategic timing. Notice the terms in the original Greek. To hagion refers to the sacred, the consecrated truths. Margaritas are the pearls, your most valuable commodity. Your testimony and the gospel are precious assets, carrying heaven's weight. The term kusin, dogs, describes a person's current posture, not their inherent worth. Jesus is identifying a state of habitual, hostile rejection. He warns that some listeners have positioned themselves to trample the message instead of receiving it. Run a diagnostic on your chosen relationship. Ask yourself, is this person currently in a state of kusin? Have your high-value truths been consistently met with contempt? Identifying this hostility changes your priority. You are now a steward tasked with protecting the sacredness of the pearl from being trampled. Silence can be an intelligent application of grace. It recognizes when a heart is not yet prepared, allowing you to stop the friction before it causes permanent damage. We often fall into reckless casting, forcing sacred truth into contempt until the message becomes cheap. The opposite is permanent withdrawal, where boundaries mutate into total abandonment and resentment. Holy restraint occupies the center, maintaining connection while withholding the argument. This path honors the hearer's current boundaries while ensuring that when you do speak again, the truth has not been devalued by weeks of fruitless arguing. We must also consider the messenger. Repeated rejection in close relationships produces spiritual weariness and the distorted belief that the gospel simply doesn't work. Jesus warned that pigs will trample the pearls and then turn and tear you to pieces. This is a pastoral warning about your well-being. Continuous exposure to hostility leads to emotional and spiritual fragmentation. Scripture models the necessity of withdrawal. When the crowd at Nazareth tried to throw Jesus off a cliff, he slipped away. When Elijah reached his breaking point, God didn't rebuke his exhaustion. He provided food and rest under a juniper tree. You have permission to step under your own juniper tree today. Take a physical breath and release the weight of the argument. You are being invited to rest. This rest is a requirement for long-term faithfulness. You cannot effectively share the pearl if you have been torn to pieces by the process. To transition from exhaustion to discernment, we will use a protocol modeled by Jesus' own interactions with hostile crowds. Step 1. Withdraw from the argument immediately. Step 2. Continue the human connection without the agenda. Step 3. Remain available if they initiate. Step 4. Shift into silent intercession, focusing on their heart's readiness rather than your talking points. Take your pen now. Write that person's name next to Matthew 7:6 in your journal. This marks the day you shift from being the source of change to being a witness to it. Following this protocol transfers the burden of the heart from your shoulders to God's timing. Writing that name down signals the end of panic-driven evangelism. You are no longer trapped in the cycle of reckless casting or the coldness of withdrawal. Look at the shift this creates. You have traded frustration and arguing for peace and praying. You are now protecting the sacred beliefs you hold. while giving the relationship the breathing room it needs to survive. Close the video in a moment and spend the next 60 seconds in silent prayer for the name on your paper. You are a steward of the truth, and today you are practicing that stewardship with the wisdom and grace Jesus modeled.